recording like this because my other idea was sitting on a chair and having the laptop on my lap, and I don't want to do that, so doing this. 2023 was a great year. It was the year where I got to go bouldering for the first time. I got stronger, and I found something that I love. To show how good of a year 2023 was, I'll go through each of the months, talking about the highlights and quickly going through what happened during that month. January was the month I went bouldering for the first time. I went to Urban Climb, and despite me being super shit, I had a great time. Even when I'd kind of destroyed my hands and a bit of the skin on my forearms after 3 hours, I wanted to keep climbing. I would climb again with my friends a few times, and that was also a lot of fun. In February, school had started, so there wasn't a lot of time to hang out, and most of my friends weren't interested in bouldering as well. I only went once in February, but it was starting to become a part of me. In March, I started climbing a blockhouse with my brothers. We would go every fortnight, and I always looked forward to it. The gym was quite big, and because we couldn't go very often, I wouldn't try to project any climbs there, except for that one overhanging climb in April. But nothing special about this month. April continued seeing my brothers and I climbing a blockhouse, and every time I was there, I would spend at least half an hour of each session trying to top this one overhanging boulder problem, and I was so close to topping it. I was so close. I got to the jugs, but I just wasn't able to push further. The jugs, the easiest part of the entire climb. But I would improve a lot during my time there. In May, I think we went bouldering together less often, even less often than the fortnight, and we eventually stopped. Because I loved bouldering so much, I would have a look around for bouldering gyms nearby, and then I found Boulder Project. There was an easy route from school if I wanted to go there after school, and there was also an easy route to home. I could basically go anytime I want, limited by money, opening times, and maybe torn skin and tired muscles. I quickly got familiar with some of the regulars, and I always looked forward to it in the middle of the school week and the end of it. June didn't have any highlights. None mentioned in its monthly bouldering video, and still nothing that I can think of as of writing the script. I think I was just having fun and getting better by simply climbing more. This month seemed like one of those months where it was just a bunch of training and progression or whatever. July wasn't going to be my strongest month when 5 days passed. I injured myself when I was hanging from a pocket hold in a project that I was working on for a few weeks. I would climb again 2 weeks later, but I couldn't climb too hard, and that project would be like that orange one in Blockhouse where I would get super close to topping it, and then I never get back to that point. I would go bouldering only once a week after that injury. In August, I got my own chalk and chalk bag. It was a great feeling having something I could associate with climbing. It was so cool. I topped my first pink grade problem, but it felt like it was too easy for the grade. I think I started to train with weights somewhat consistently with a few friends, and at some point I got a journal for my training and climbing. I would bring that to every training session, and I also brought it to an excursion with my school where we did some top rope climbing. That was actually a lot of fun, and to be honest, I'm not sure if I prefer the strength and problem solving of bouldering or the endurance and technical type climbs from lead. They both seem pretty fun. In September, I got my own pair of climbing shoes. I did a bunch of slabs as somehow my interest in the type of climbs that I do changed from powerful, overhanging climbs, probably because of that injury. I really like the challenge of precision and balance that slabs have. It teaches me to be more deliberate with what I do with my feet, and I have to think about them more. I think I spent a lot of time doing climbs on the playground wall, which is the one that usually has a bunch of slabs on it. It's the slab wall. This month was also the month where I'd start posting on this channel again, and I was excited to have a platform where I could track my bouldering progress more visually and see myself get better. Though I haven't really been tracking that on this channel in the recent months, it should be happening soon. Another thing I did was train more often for bouldering by going to the gym on a different day and training my pulling muscles. So at this point, I would be going to the gym twice a week and in the bouldering gym once a week. October was probably the best month of the year, and I would always compare my time right now to that month. It was that good. There were two problems that I worked on this month, and they were challenging enough that topping them would feel extremely satisfying. One of them was an overhanging type of climb. That one was very difficult to figure out. The first few moves actually felt really cool to do, but once those moves were done, it got really confusing. But after doing a bunch of thinking and with some help from a friend, I got the second half. And then I did the whole thing together and topped it, and it felt so good. The other one was a difficult slab that required me to be extremely thoughtful with my feet because they were pretty much everything in this climb, since most of the footholds were really bad and the problem was on a perfectly vertical wall. I had to be really precise. I believe I hit a high there, and I'm not sure how long it'll be until I get a feeling like that again. Best month. I was a bit on and off during November. I would only go climbing on 3 of the days, and some of those days didn't have me fully charged for climbing, and I would get really tired really quickly. There was still a highlight which I would also consider a milestone, and that being that I topped my first orange grade problem, which was a slab. And I think it was too easy for its grade because I topped it in only 7 attempts, which is not a lot. I made a video about that on the same day I topped it, and it should be very easy to see from its very bright orange thumbnail. The week after, I would have a go at another orange problem. This time it was at the cave section, so there was a more physical challenge to it. The first week was great and I was getting to know the moves and stuff, but I couldn't do shit the next session. I got tired really quickly and I couldn't perform as well as I would normally do. And at around this point, I was deep in the passion project, so most of my focus was on that. And that would basically be finished just before the end of the month. This month started off strong, but ended not in the way that I would have liked. In December, because I got kind of tired and sick from school and other things that happened, I hadn't gone bouldering for at least 2 weeks, so the first session was just me refreshing my mind on bouldering and stuff. And I was still tired at that time. It did get better. I had some fun again, and I did my first bat hang, and it felt really cool. Despite the end of the year having slowed me down a bit, there was obviously a lot of progress. I was once shit compared to how I do now. I don't even know what V grade I'm climbing, but if I were to guess, it could be V2, V3. I don't know, somewhere around there. I haven't set any goals for myself, and I think it would be appropriate to set a few that I could achieve and work towards throughout 2024. I'd prefer to make a separate video on that and expanding on it, but I can make up a few goals right now. My leg flexibility could do some work, so I'll make a goal to be able to touch my toes with straight legs and maybe even try to go further than that by getting my hands fully on the ground or elbows to my toes. I don't know how hard that last one is. Could be that bit could be a bit too ambitious. In terms of like grade chasing stuff, I guess I could make a goal to top my first black grade and get to a point where I could flash pinks easily. Pinks and orange are actually like very similar grades. So yeah, the orange thing wasn't too much of a milestone. My fingers are not very strong and my wrists suck, so I could try to do some type of training for my fingers so I can do better with crimps and slopers. I'll try to touch back on these with a slideshow soon. I love making those. I love making slideshows. What will happen in 2024? How much stronger will I get? How many things will I learn? Is there a chance that I could drop bouldering and climbing altogether? I hope not. Hope I don't do that. And that's the end of the first year. Goodbye. I don't even know if this can see me. Bleh. Bleh.